Good morning or good night, Gacha Kingdom. Oh, I get it. The most screwed over character in Honkai Star Rail because he's talking about screwllum and he's got screw in his name. Oh, I get it. Stop! Today I'm going to be talking about how screwllum got screwed over in Honkai Star Rail. But we do have a chance about him being playable soon in amphoreus, with him being in the trailer with like everybody else going to fight this one guy, and he's part of the story with Herta. Like, these two don't work with each other unless it's like diverging universe. You know this shit is serious now. A lot of this video will be centered around the speculation zone and a lot of Honkai Star Rail leaks, so take this video with a lot of salt. And if you don't like delving into leaks in the speculation zone, I'm sorry, I'll just see you next week around this same time. Just please Hoyo, just release this man. I know you have him in the dungeon ready to release anytime now. God damn. Now let's do the cha-cha slide all the way back to Honkai Star Rail 1.1. Yeah, that's right, 2023, and 1.1 drops, and everyone's like, oh my god, Silverwolf and Lord Cha! And Honkai Star Rail thinks that Silverwolf is so overpowered they have to nerf her. About a month before 1.1, we get a bunch of leaks via Miro, and one of them was Screwllum's kit. And Screwllum is suggested to be a 4-star imaginary erudition character. This kit isn't very important because obviously this kit never came to fruition. However, we get to 1.1 and instead of Screwllum being the imaginary character, we get Yukong instead. And at this point, Yukong was more done than Screwllum, so I don't think Screwllum was ever intended to be released in 1.1. However, I do think it just makes sense if they just released Screwllum with Silverwolf, because Silverwolf's entire like story arc here in 1.1 was the fact that she started messing with you, and then Screwllum comes in and then like bluffs about like, oh yeah, you're so cool and stuff, and then Herta comes in and she's like, aha, actually we got like 10,000 of your gamer accounts banned because you're Silverwolf. And she's like, oh no. So if they were ever going to release him as a 4-star character, I think this would have been like the prime time to do it. I just think that they were going to also release Yukong with Lord Cha, and they didn't want to release 2 4-star characters in one banner before, because that's never happened in a Hoyo game ever before. So they were like, we could just put him off for right now. And from the month between that leak to the official release of 1.1, the Honkai Star Rail team must have really liked Screwllum, because when 1.1 releases, we get a bunch of new leaks from Mai, and one of them suggests that Screwllum is now a 5-star character instead of 4-star, but he's still an imaginary erudition character. Along with that, that same day, we get a list of light cones from Infinity that suggests that Screwllum's also got a light cone in the game as well. I'll get back to this in a sec, because there's a certain man that becomes very important for this theory that I'm about to present to you guys. Dr. Ratio. Oh god! During the same time we got those Screwllum 4-star kit leaks, we get a Dr. Ratio render leak via Mai and Yariko Chika about how Dr. Ratio's render looks. Pretty simple enough. Look at the screen. Wow. A week later, after Mai and Yoriko's Chika's leak about Dr. Ratio's model, we get a leak from Infinity talking about Dr. Ratio's eidolons, and it's suggested that he's a 4-star imaginary character. Another imaginary erudition 4-star character. Now let's take it up to speed. 1.1 officially releases. Yes, we are now up to date, and the same leak happens where Mai's like, hey, Screwllum's now a 5-star imaginary erudition character, and Dr. Ratio is also a 5-star imaginary hunt character. Same model as Jeppy. The rest of the year is pretty quiet from these two. We save China, and then we clean up China, and then we go back to Belobog and we fight the IRS, and then we go on a little ghost hunt expedition. Dr. Ratio drip marketing, and then at the end of the ghost hunting expedition, he announces that he's coming into us for free. This right here is when Screwllum was screwed over by Dr. Ratio. Goddamn, Dr. Ratio, was aventurine not enough for you? Or was aventurine not alpha enough to screw you, so you went to the man that literally had screw in his name? You can't make this up. A day before the official release of 1.5, Hex Enzerkill, with the translation from Nath on Reddit, leaks screwllum's 5-star kit, and in particular, his talent is very interesting. When allies inflict debuffs on enemies, they are marked with diffusion mark. When screwllum uses a combat technique, if the enemy unit attacked is marked with diffusion mark, an additional attack will be triggered. Timeout. When using his skill, Dr. Ratio has a 40% fixed chance of launching a follow-up attack. For each debuff the target enemy has, the fixed chance of launching a follow-up attack increases by 20%. Interesting. While not being the same, it's a little too close to Planet Screwllum to call it a coincidence. Not everything is a coincidence. Now, it is worth noting that Hex's leak is the only leak that I'm going to be talking about today that is labeled as questionable according to the Honkai Star Rail Reddit leaks. Arguably, all leaks are questionable to an extent because anything can change, obviously. For the sake of this theory, let's just say that Screwllum kit was actually Screwllum's kit. The day before Hex leaked Screwllum's kit, C2TR leaked Dr. Ratio's kit. And Dr. Ratio's kit originally wasn't based off of debuffs. It only increased his chance of follow-up attacks if an ally attacked that same enemy that Dr. Ratio did. A few weeks later, Honkai Star Rail opens up their beta servers, people start playing with Dr. Ratio, and lo and behold, we get the Dr. Ratio that we see now, where he has a 40% fixed chance, and that 40% fixed chance goes higher if you apply debuffs to your enemy. I ain't saying he's a gold digger, but there is a reason why we haven't seen Screwllum around. This is when our road starts getting a little bumpy because leaks do get deleted, and this one got deleted. But I remember from 1.5 to 1.6, Screwllum's light cone art got leaked, along with a lot of other people's light cone arts, but that post got deleted. So that's how we got Screwllum's light cone floating around with no source to who the fuck leaked it. And either they faked the leak and someone's really good at replicating hoyoverse's art style, or this was Screwllum's light cone that never made it into the game. Now that it's been a second, let's talk about that list of light cones that Infinity leaked after 1.1, which feels like a forever ago. This list included characters that were theoretically supposed to get light cones in the 1.0 updates. The only two people that didn't get light cones were Screwllum and Hanabi. And Hanabi turned out to be Sparkle, and Sparkle released in 2.0, which I'll forgive because she's still pre-first year anniversary, which, hey, better late to the party than never, hey? While Screwllum never showed up as a playable character, and hence never got his light cone in the game, while Dr. Ratio, at the time still being leaked at the time, never appeared in Infinity's list, and here he is full out naked in this bathtub and no Screwllum in sight. Now I know what Dr. Gay over there is going to tell me. All that stuff is talking about leaks and stuff, but what about official content? Is there anything officially that could point towards me, Dr. Ratio, pushing Screwllum into NPC hell, and for Hoyo to release me instead? When you text people on Honkai Star Rail, you don't really pay attention to their little profile pictures because, well, obviously most of the characters just use their splash art, so it's not really anything special, and then NPCs are just their models staring into your soul. The only time I ever paid attention to somebody's little message icon was Screwllum, and not because this is Screwllum we're talking about here, it's because how oddly blue it looked. Like, no other NPC at that point had this bluish tint color on their model. So why is Screwllum's model blue? My theory is that they wanted to release Screwllum this update. Obviously, we got Dr. Ratio instead. So in this conversation that we get with Astra, Runmei, and Screwllum, and then you're like, guys, I found the cats. They were supposed to have Screwllum's splash art here for his little icon, but obviously he's not playable. So that's how we get this blue passport picture where he's facing and looking at you with this blue tint around him. And I don't think I would mind, but this is the first time we ever text Screwllum, and it happens to be the same update that it's Runmei and Dr. Ratio. And if Dr. Ratio was supposed to be screwllum, and screwllum was supposed to have like a splash art here when we like text him about like the cats running around, I don't know. I'm just saying.
There is no such thing as a coincidence.
The last screwllum leak that we ever got that was substantial was a splash art concept art that was leaked by Bled Naya, and that was posted on Valentine's Day 2024. And ever since, we've never seen screwllum up until now, where he's in amphoreus and he's apparently gonna help us get the fuck out of amphoreus, because apparently it's just Nanook playing The Sims and the entire world is fake. And I'm not that mad at Dr. Ratio because he joined our party without our consent, and also his light cone is him naked. How can I be mad at that? Other than the fact that obviously he pushed screwllum into indefinite NPC jail. But it seems like screwllum's getting himself out of that jail really soon. Or at least I sure hope so. I'm watching you, Hoyo! I'm watching you! And to my 3 people that also play Arknights, I already know that the Chinese servers added Tin Man, which is basically like an extension of like screwllum's family, and he was given out for free! Like, we could have had it all, like Adele. 2 free robot men in brown suits given to us for free. But if I had a nickel every time that happened, I would only have 1!